Hi, my name is Safi, and this is episode 9 of the Professional Rambler podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about Islam. I already talked about my thoughts on religion in the previous episode, so if you just want to, because this might be negative, but that's not my intention, but I'm just going to actually talk about the conversation that we needed to talk about in Islam that no one wants to talk about, and only want to talk about the good. So this is going to be a conversation. If with this episode, you have to be extremely open-minded, and if you already set on an opinion, please do not listen to this episode, because I've always been taught to question everything that's come into my life. So I question everything, and this is just an episode of me questioning everything that doesn't quite make sense to me. So if you have an answer to it, please let me know on my you can feel to DM me on Professional Rambler on Instagram, or email me at professionalramblerpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll answer. So this is just kind of a conversation of having an open mind and just really talking about something that no one's been ready to talk about. And yeah, just an open conversation. Okay, so before I continue with this episode, I just want to talk about something I recently learned. Was like, people said with the Muslim religion, there's like a system of tests you have to go through. Like, you have to battle your thoughts with same-sex attraction. There's so many different. But why is there a test just to go to a place that we're not even sure that's real? Just a little food for thought. I don't know. Okay, so before I start, I'm gonna talk about my highs and lows for this week and just everything going on. My highs for this lows is for this past week. Me and my little sister had some bonding time. We went to the mall. I had to go return some stuff, but we went to go shopping. It was a lit time. So since I'm also leaving in a week, so I just thought it'd be a fun bonding experience, and I also get to get my money back. So that was a lit time. So we had fun, and I'm also leaving for college. So I'm excited. It hasn't completely hit me yet, so I'm not I don't know if I should be excited or scared or nervous, and I think I'm allowed to feel all of the above. So I'm excited and also scared, and I don't think it will quite hit me until I spend my first week or first night in my college dorm. So that's very exciting and all. And also, I actually started posting on TikTok. I have my TikTok account since Musical.ly. It's all in private. All my Musical.ly videos are all in private. I hate it. So I never actually posted because I was also I was kind of scared of people seeing it. I just didn't want that. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start posting on TikTok. I'm gonna get a little clout off of there. That'll be nice. So I've been posting excessively much stuff I would post on my Snapchat, and now I'm posting on my TikTok. Some people are seeing it. It's a lit time, and it's a lit time. I'm not saying my username. If you find me, you find me. But it's exciting, and yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with my TikTok account. Might blow up or might not. I don't know. I feel like it's a fun space because a lot of shit goes up in my brain, and it's just a fun time to just really get to just say it out to a camera, even if it's only two people watching. It's still something fun to just say and just talk, because I have a lot going up in my head. So that's why I thought it would be interesting to go to TikTok. My lows for this week would probably be, I've been cleaning and packing. When I went to get my suitcases, I would take for college, I only got one suitcase and one duffel bag, and for some reason I thought that'd be enough. I thought that'd be enough to take all my stuff that I'm moving away to college, and I thought one suitcase, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I was not thinking, apparently. That's one thing I know for sure. So I had to find every single duffel bag, every single backpack in the house to try to fit everything. And I'm not done yet, but I'm almost done. I should be almost done. And also I have to do my hair, which will take me 2 days. But at least I'll look cute for college, so that's a good thing. And so I'm probably about to do my hair as soon as I'm done with this podcast. I should probably have skipped this week's episode since I have so much going on, but I just really wanted to talk and just have a chance to really talk about everything about Islam and just the Muslim religion and because there was something that triggered me about wanting to talk about this episode. And also, another lows is that right now, for like maybe in the next month, I have no more income coming to my bank account until I start my work-study job. But at least the good thing is I got the library work-study job. So I'm excited about that because I heard that like that's the easiest one. All you have to do is basically just sit there. Like you get to do your work or your classwork. And for me, I can do my classwork or I can edit my podcast when I'm at work. So that's exciting. Also, I have to wear a mask. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to be working for. Probably about like 5 hours max. So I'm going to have to wear like a mask. So that's like very exciting. And I'm just, yeah. So I'm not going to get... So let's get into this podcast. So before I start with this podcast, I'm gonna start by you guys are gonna listen to a couple other opinions before you listen to my opinion. So there's this one video of most of my on YouTube. She did like her subscribers' unpopular opinion, and here it is.
Being said, religion isn't an excuse to be a bigot. Most religions are actually against that type of behavior. That is also why I personally don't really claim a religion or like claim a name with what I believe, because I don't really care about labels and stuff like that. Two, it's a lot of negative things and negativity associated with the term Christianity. A lot of people are part of Christianity and make Christianity look bad because of racist tendencies, because of homophobia. Yes, I still believe, but at the same time, I don't even want to have a name like that. It's not even supposed to be a name. You're not really supposed to even have a name. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to be associated with something so negative. Christianity itself, the concept of it, no, it's not negative, but at the same time, there have been people who have made that community of Christianity just negative. Just because you're religious doesn't mean that you're better than anybody, that you're above anybody. Some people tend to forget that they themselves have fallen short of the Lord as well. But then Marshmallow said people...
So that's one. She basically talked about Christianity, but that goes same with Islam and all religions. Just because you believe in that religion, people think you're better. The one thing that triggered me into making this episode was this white gay boy TikToker was basically talking about So I'm gonna play it right now.
And do not try to tone police LGBTQ plus people that are criticizing a religion that is fucking killing us. That's fucking killing us. So I couldn't show the whole...
So, yeah, that's the main thing that he was basically saying, like, Islam is killing LGBT people. And, like, he specifically was, like, the Islamic government is killing LGBT people. And then he made, like, another video of basically clarifying what he means, and people were still attacking him on saying like not everyone in Islam believes that, not everyone in Islam doesn't like LGBT people, but like people attacking him up saying like you're generalizing, but like I'm gonna get to, then this another TikTok of the name J-Robe made his own video on it, and this was his thoughts.
Because it's extremely long, but the religion he's referring to is Islam, and we need to talk about what he said. Talking about the actions of certain Muslim theocratic states and then applying it to the entire religion in general is extremely dangerous. And it's even more so dangerous to say that to what I'm guessing is a mostly American audience where internalized Islamophobia is extremely prevalent. And not to mention, I'm sure a lot of his audience is young members of the LGBTQ plus community, and saying things like that can and does create fear towards Muslims. And from that fear, a very restricted view of who Muslims are and what they stand for can be created in the minds of these very young, impressionable viewers. Because there are Muslims that are socially liberal and members of the LGBTQ plus community. And instead of posting blocks of text clarifying what you meant, just say that you were wrong and that you're sorry. I've done it, and so could...
So that's what he said. I get what he meant, that like you can't generalize a whole group of religion, but and then people in the comments, I tried having like a discussion with people in the comments, and people were like, religion and culture are two separate things. But like in Islam, religion and culture kind of intertwine, because like when I used to go to mosque, like only the mosque, like if I went to like an Arab mosque, I felt like a little left out, or just didn't feel like I belonged in that space. So we went to like a Nigerian mosque, and just like also like Islam and the Muslim religion is very like binary. So like there's a curtain that separates the men and the women. So people who don't fit in that binary box of men and women feel kind of left out. Like what I belong if you're not traditionally dressed. Like a trans person, if a trans person wants to go. If a trans woman wants to go to the women's section, people already know her from before. People are like, you're a man, you just want to look at women's booty. But if she goes to the men's side, the men are like, why are you in her job? You're disrespecting the religion, and it's just like, where does like a non-binary person or a trans person doesn't quite fit in a mosque setting because like. But and then when I did try to bring up this conversation with people I was trying to have a conversation with them, was like, what about Christianity? They're like, Christianity has the same problem. Christianity does have that same problem with homophobia, but the conversation is being had a little bit with Christianity, and people are calling out Christianity for the homophobia in the religion. So that's why there's LGBT friendly church where LGBT people feel a lot comfortable going than going to a regular church with like a lot of older people. So now there's like LGBT friendly church, but there isn't a lot of like LGBT friendly mosque for LGBT people to go to without feeling judged or without having that binary of having the men's section and the women's section. So the conversation is being had in Christianity, but the conversation is not being had in Islam because it's being swept under the rug and no one wants to talk about it. Everyone just wants to keep acting like it doesn't really exist. You're going to feel left out, and like they may not outwardly say it, but like like those gossipy aunties or those gossipy uncles, like we all know those. Like in family places, like they don't look at you, they be like, look at them, like oh my god. It's just like you don't feel included. So like people, like trans people still want to pursue their religion, but when like LGBT people come out as like gay or trans, they don't feel comfortable because like everyone just starts judging. Like if a guy's really flamboyant, like oh my god, he wants to be a girl, but like he's just gay. So it's just that was like a major issue. So it's just like people kept telling me that like culture and religion doesn't intertwine, but yes it does, because a lot, like when I also went to a church, it's like when I first moved to this neighborhood, I went to this like Catholic church or like was mostly Hispanic people. It's like we still felt welcome, like we still felt like welcome, but like the vibe, like the vibe was off, that we just didn't feel quite there. So it's just like culture and religion definitely does intertwine with each other, and we just have to be ready to have this conversation. So I screenshotted a couple rebuttals. Oh yeah. So like there was this one TikTok of this girl choosing, like she wore the hijab all her life because she was under her parents' roof and her parents made her wear the hijab. So as soon as she kind of left the house, she found her individuality, and her individuality she didn't wear the hijab anymore because that was just her, and she looked happier. And then she looked happier not wearing the hijab because she was being forced to. And I understand the hijab is not supposed to be forced to, and some families do force you to wear the hijab even if it's not supposed to be forced. So when she left, she didn't want to wear the hijab anymore, and then that's what she basically made the TikTok of it. And people were basically saying like people were basically criticizing her for wearing the hijab, telling her, no, you like you're sinning, you can't be Muslim anymore because you're not wearing the hijab, you're like showing skin, and just like I'm gonna talk about this later in the episode also, but like how like women kind of lose their individuality and when wearing the hijab, and it just makes you question like why is that? Why do women constantly have to why do women have to constantly have like a modest dressing? I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. There's someone commented on that TikTok saying you looked much better then. She looked very unhappy when wearing the hijab. She was like she didn't, but like when she took off the hijab, she started wearing what makes her happy. So then she replied saying, "So you like little girls, huh?" So she didn't, once she took off the hijab, she didn't see the purpose of like being a Muslim, because like people started criticizing her when she didn't wear the hijab. People just, like the Haram police, just start to really be really judgmental and just like, oh my god, you're a terrible Muslim. And then some people be like, you can be Muslim and not wear the hijab, like it's all you, it's your choice. But then there's other people who's like constantly judging you and making you feel bad about it. Someone else commented, "You're gonna die alone." Then she replied, "Okay, I'll tell my friends, sisters, daughters, husband, info so they can go." Exactly. Just people believe that just because like you're not following this religion that you're gonna die alone and no one's really gonna like you. And someone also commented, "I'm starting to become more agnostic. I'm a Muslim. I just can't find proof. I just can't prove the existence of God." She replied, "Yes, agnosticism is great, but maybe it will help you. It will help you not to be homophobic." Someone else replied under that same comment was like, "Bro, there's so many proof that proof. What do you want? But like, what is the proof that God really exists? Like, I believe there's a God out there. I just don't believe in the religion. Just put that. I believe there's definitely a God." Then the original person said there was no proof. Someone else replied, "Okay, I mean you don't need proof. Like you think you think this word came out as an accident, or do you believe that?" And then sometimes another TikTok of religious abuse is just as real and traumatic and prominent as any other form of abuse. Denying it isn't going to help. If anything, it's just going to make sure it continues doing anything harmful in the name of religion is wrong. Stop hiding behind your false interpretation of what your religion wanted you to do, and start loving your children the way you're supposed to do. Stop forcing religious practices on them. Exactly. This it's a hijabi saying this, basically saying you're not supposed to force your religion onto your children. You're just supposed to show them the different religions that's out there, and whichever one like really like sticks with your children is what you're just supposed to support your children and not try to push your beliefs onto your children, and pushing your beliefs onto your is religious abuse. And like it's really traumatic on a lot of people who were forced to wear the hijab when they didn't want to. And that's why in elementary school you see girls when your parents were dropping out of school, they had the hijab, but then they'll go to the bathroom and take off the hijab because they didn't feel. And then there was some bitches who would go snitch on to their parents. If you did that, you're a dickhead. But like forcing a hijab onto someone is not right, because it's just gonna push them farther and farther away from the religion itself. And religion is such a beautiful thing, but like people have just like used different connotations for it and just different interpretation for it, that now there's just so many different interpretations that like, which one do I believe? Like, if I'm this, I can't be this. So there's just a lot of shit that's there. So there's this I want another TikTok comment. There's a difference between religion and culture, just in case nobody ever mentioned this to you. And I was just like, there's not really a difference between religion and culture, because religion and culture have been intertwined for the longest. And like, they intertwined, so saying they're separate things is because like, I understand where the person is coming from, saying religion and culture are two separate things, but it's really not two separate things. So I'm just interesting. So I went into the comment of the first guy I mentioned, where he was basically saying like the Islamic government is killing LGBT people, which is absolutely true, because being openly gay, which means like being flamboyant if you're a guy, or like being masculine if you're a female. If you don't look in the stereotypical way a woman or a man is supposed to look, you are going to get killed. And that's the sad reality that we live in. So, under that guy's Instagram post, I went under. So, someone was like, Islamic. He captioned like, I have been having so many thoughts. And someone was like, Islamophobic ones. Someone else says, another comment was, clearly no thoughts except Islamophobic ones. And I want to also talk about that, like how having a different opinion from someone doesn't mean they're Islamophobic. The amount of just because I try to have this exact discussion I'm having right now on this podcast, the amount of times people called me Islamophobic was astonishing. I was just like, how? Just because I don't think the same way you are. I'm not bashing anyone's religion or anything like that. People would call me Islamophobic. I'm Islamophobic, but I'm just like, I literally did not say anything Islamophobic. I did not. saying Islamophobic is saying you're going to fucking go you're going to go burn a mosque, or like you're gonna go shoot all the Muslim people, or like harassing Muslim women or Muslim men in the streets. That's Islamophobia. Disagreeing with someone's opinion isn't Islamophobia, and that's where the discussion comes. I'm just like, having a difference of opinion doesn't mean Islamophobia, and that's where a lot of this conversation needs to come from. And then another comment was like, thanks for Islamophobia and further stigmatizing us. Thanks for blanketing an entire religion instead of calling out specific countries of their harmful actions against LGBT community. Oh, and thank you for listening to countless number of LGBTQ community who have corrected you and told you that what you said is wrong and incredibly harmful. Islamophobia looks weird on you. So that was sarcasm, if you couldn't tell. But the person was saying like, instead of just generalizing the whole religion, you could have just called out countries. But like, a lot of these countries are all Islamophobic. Like, any country that's not like a Western, even Westernized countries are mad, but they do it more like under the table type of thing. But like, in the countries that are not Westernized, what's quotation marks, are more openly with their like homophobia and transphobia through LGBTQ people, and that was just like extremely funny and just interesting because of where that concept comes from. It's just really curious, and just not being able to have that conversation. So it's just like, just because someone disagrees with you, and he never said Islam is homophobic. He said Islamic government is homophobic. And it is true, because they're literally like stoning LGBTQ people and killing them, like putting them in prison. And those prisons over there are not good for LGBTQ or any people, because if they see you're different, they will fucking kill you in prison. They already kill people in prison in America, so imagine what happens when there's really no laws to protect LGBTQ people or overseas. So just imagine that, and like, people not wanting to have that discussion with Islam being homophobic and being transphobic, people not wanting to have this conversation, like Muslim people not wanting to have this conversation in their families. Like, for the longest, I did not like having this conversation in my family, because I was scared of what the outcome was. But like, you have to learn to have this conversation and have have like a meaningful conversation with your families on why homophobia really bothers them, and what the big problem is with all of this. So it's just very interesting. And someone else commented, a religion, Islam, kills us gays. See of Islamophobia, Caleb. Sarcasm. And the comment is, it's Islamophobia for y'all and trying to justify it. He didn't try to justify anything, but like, go. So under his TikTok video of him trying to justify what he meant, because it was more of a clarification. People kept telling him to apologize, but I'm just like, what's he apologizing for? It's a conversation that needs to be heard. He eventually apologized, but in my opinion, I don't think he really meant the apology. I think he just meant it so people would just shut up and stop commenting under his shit, because like, he didn't say anything wrong that wasn't incorrect. It was a conversation that needed to be had, and a conversation that many people are not ready to have in the Islam religion, because people are like, Islam is very peaceful. It's very peaceful, and I agree. Like, Islam is super peaceful. Like, it's one of the most peaceful religion, and I love the religion on its own. But the people have made it so freaking toxic with the way like they push, like, if you're different from us, you're going to hell. If you're doing this, you're going to hell. You're doing this, you're going to hell. Like, every freaking thing you do, you're going to hell. And like, there's no individuality in Islam, and that's I'm going to talk about this. But then critiques the government and not Muslim, not Islam. And then he could reply with like, that's what I've continually done. All he did was critique the government. He never said anything about Islam. He just critiqued the government and what the Islamic government in the Islamic states, Islamic countries are doing. Someone was like, all you have to say is say sorry, bro. But like, what is he saying sorry for? It's a conversation that needed to be had. Okay, so another comment was, I cannot believe you still understand the problem. You said a very generalizing statement that instills the fear of Muslims into impressionable. And it seems like before we do continue reading his reply, it seems like the major issue was the reputation and not the issue itself. People weren't really on the issue itself. They were more in the reputation, because they were like, you saying Islam is homophobia, is homophobic and transphobic, is like ruining the reputation of Islam, and not addressing the homophobia in a lot of Muslim households. And why do we only care about the reputation of a religion that's like the religion's name has already been tarnished? So why it's already been like the name of religion has already been tarnished? So instead of trying to fix the reputation of Islam itself, why don't we fix the misogyny, the homophobia, the transphobia in the religion? And that's just what I'm asking. So why do you care more about religion, about the religion's reputation, than you care more about people's actual lives? Answer that. That's what I want to know. That's the question of today. Why do you care more about reputation than you care about people's actual lives? I'm waiting. Please, I want you to write a paragraph, please. And then he replied, I never said that. A clip was taken from my full conversations to make it seem like those were my beliefs. Then the person replied, I wish you would just take a step back and understand that trunk. Like I said, I will fight alongside you to condemn the horrible government actions. Audience, are you defending your words? I'll still fight till my last day alongside LGBTQ people through horrible deface, and I will not tolerate being. That's a good thing, but like, so you agree with what he's saying, it's very weird. So I think I'm done with reading the majority of the comments, or this episode is just going to be majority just me reading the entire comments. So now I'm going to actually go into my notes and like what I've actually written down to talk about in this episode. Oh yeah, and there's also another comment I saw under his Instagram post of someone calling him FAG. And then I was like, don't say that. And then like, they should start to call me like a white savior. I was like, me, a black woman, a white savior? Never. I'll call anyone else. And like, she was like, oh my god, why are you defending this white boy? I'm like, it's not about me defending a white boy. It's me about defending what's right. It's me trying to talk about confidence. I don't care who it is. Like, I don't care who said it. I care about what the problem is. So like they were like, oh my god, why are you trying so hard to defend this white boy? But I'm like, that I'm not trying. I'm trying to have the conversation, and a lot of these comments were just proving my point. I was just like, when I told them my experiences, they'll be like, well, that's just you, that's just your culture. But I was like, so you're proving my point. You're proving my point that. So I was just like, that's just your experience. So now in that way, you're trying to validate my experiences I've been through. And you're trying to validate me as a person. I'm not trying to talk about what's really wrong with the religion. And like I said this earlier, but like, just because you disagree with someone doesn't make you Islamophobic or doesn't make you anti-phobic. You can disagree with someone, but still like continue to fight. Just because you disagree with someone, as long as you're not like outwardly like being like bullying them, because of their identity, it's something they can't change. By the way, doesn't mean they're a bad person. And it's just a very interesting conversation to have, because it do make sense. And I'd like someone to talk to me about that, because that's just very interesting. Just because I disagree with you and I'm trying to have a conversation. Yeah, how many times I was called Islamophobic? And like, I was like, because sometimes like I can have like some wild opinions, and I always want to change my opinion. I'm always wanting to learn more. So like, if I'm saying something fucked up, I want to be called out. I want to be told like, so Safi, what you said was wrong. Like, let me educate you to learn. I'm down to learn, but like, so that's why in the comments I was trying to like understand your perspective, but like no one was actually talking about the homophobia and the transphobia and the misogyny that happens in the Islam religion. They just want to talk about not tarnishing the reputation. Like, forget about the reputation of Islam and talk about the actual people that they're hurting. People who have to like this. He also like posted like people from like from like Islamic government who were queer was like, yeah, I can't be openly myself in public, or else I will get harassed, I will get killed in the streets, and like they will not get any justice. And like even with these people were still just trying to justify their reputation. I was just like, people's lives are in danger, and all you care about is, I don't want to hurt the reputation of a religion that's been with, like, all religion have been written multiple times to fit someone's narrative. So I'm like, why would I believe one thing? So it just doesn't quite make sense to me. And it's very interesting, the concept of it. People say Muslim people don't judge and separate culture from religion. Islam has a lot of hate in the religion. Christianity also, but this episode is not about Christianity. I will talk about Christianity in another episode. But Islam has a lot of hate, like, in the religion. The religion is about peace, but people, like, a religion isn't just a religion. And the reason why it's a religion, because there's a lot of believers, and the believers has a lot of hate, and that's why the Quran has been read so many times. And like with LGBT friendly Muslims on TikTok, I've seen a lot of them, like, they're like, the Quran doesn't say anything about being the Quran doesn't say anything about being homosexual or being trans. As long as you're a believer, that's all that matters. But then some people will be like, well, you're allowed to be homosexual, but you just can't act on it. So I'm allowed to be, I'm not saying, but let's say I'm allowed to be gay, but if I sleep with another woman, or if I marry another woman, that's where I'm going to hell. So like, I'm not allowed to be myself, and I'm not allowed to be myself. Like, tell me where it makes sense. So I'm not allowed to be. I'm just supposed to please. So I'm supposed to suppress my identity just to please a bunch of random people. Make that make sense? Quarter joint. Just kidding. But like, so I'm just supposed to hide my sexuality and hide my identity, just to please a bunch of random people on the street, so people don't look at me weird or harass me weird, just so other people can be happy. Interesting. That's a very interesting concept, because why would I do that? That's what a lot of the comments said. They were like, yeah, you're allowed to be gay, just don't act on it. You just have to go marry the opposite sex, be unhappy for the rest of your life, just so a bunch of random people will be happy that you don't know of, just so you can please an invisible God. Just so you can please an invisible God to go to a place that you don't know that's actually real. So you want me to like suppress myself for somewhere, for a place, for like a mythical place, heaven or hell, that we don't know it's real for sure. Interesting. So like, I'm supposed to live my entire life just to especially since life is very like unexpected, like you could die at any minute, just to be unhappy, just to please a bunch of random people. Like, just like make it make sense to me. Like, I want it to, like, please make it make sense to me. Like, how does that, like, when I saw a comment of someone saying like, yeah, you're allowed to be homosexual, you just can't act on it. So I was like, so if I was to act on it, that's when I'll go to hell. I'm like, child, bye. I'm not answering this. I'm like, so you just proved your point. You proved your fucking point. Like people who moved aside from like the reputation would say this. I'm like, so you proved your fucking point that it is homophobic. I'm supposed to live my life just for like a mythical God, and some people around, like other Muslim people, to look at me and be like, oh my God, look at her, you should be like her. But like, really, I'm not happy. I'm just trying to satisfy a bunch of random people. Think about it. Exactly. And you're told to shut up when you mention anything related, or just like anything like political, or anything like homophobia, transphobia. Like, no one wants to have that conversation. So when you're ready to have that conversation, you're constantly being told to shut up, don't talk, shut up. Like, this is going people's business. Like, don't not talk, like, while you're talking. So I was just like, that's very interesting. And so like, the religion, like in a Muslim household, like, you're not supposed to talk about anything. Like, you're not supposed to, like, and that's why a lot of religious kids end up being the sneakiest fuckers. Like, they're so, like, the pastor's kid, like, with the religious family's kids are always the sneakiest fuckers, because they know how to get around, because you're not talking about sex in the house. You're not talking about sexuality. You're not talking about identity. You're not talking about anything. And like, now what happens? Like, you're not talking. So that's why a lot of these kids end up just like having sex, getting STIs or getting pregnant because they don't know about condom, they don't know about birth control, they don't know about any of this, and just it's not being talked about. So, and that's why kids are going to do it anyway. Kids are going to try something out anyway. So why not talk about it? Why not let your kids be safe instead of just allowing them to just, instead of just allowing them to just do stuff behind your back? Talk to your kids about stuff like just drinking, sex, sexuality, gender identity. Just because kids are going to do anyway, so you might as well know about it, so you know they're safe. And this is how a lot of kids are also getting kidnapped because like a lot of like this is going to be my sexuality episode, but like a lot of like gay boys go on Grindr, like young, like under 13 go on Grindr, which you're supposed to be over 18 for. The reason why they go because their families have told them it's forbidden to be gay, like, and they just want to really explore their sexuality. And a lot of these creepy old men are taking advantage of some young boys, and these young boys just want to have experience or just want to know if I'm really gay, and just like these. So it's just there's a lot of like sexual assault that goes on in the LGBT community because like it's not the traditional sexual assault, but it is because you're taking advantage of young boys. And so that's just religion. Like I said in that other TikTok, religious abuse needs to be talked about because it's constantly not being talked about. Because like forcing a religion onto your kids, growing up saying, I grew up Muslim, I grew up Christian, so you have to go up that way. You have to think the exact same way I do. But like the thing with going with each generation is starting to question everything. Like I've questioned everything. I was taught to like really not build and not ever question anything. Just do as my parents has told me to do. But I question everything. I've questioned myself. I've questioned my identity. I've just questioned everything that like. I question everything. I question my beliefs. I'm like, wait, why do I think of this? Like my last episode when I said I used to believe in all lives matter. I questioned. I was like, why am I believing in this? Like, well, this is wrong. I questioned everything. Like, and questioning is so good because it really allows you to really be open minded to different people and different organizations and just like being open minded. It's just very interesting. Misogyny. My next one. I've mostly talked about homophobia and transphobia. Oh wait, before I talk about misogyny, there was this one girl, trans woman on TikTok. She goes by the trans hijabi. Her comments are horrible. Like I want to talk about the Haram police. Like anything she just does. Like, people are like, you're going to hell. Like, she wears her hijab. People are like, you're not a woman, you're a man. But, like, how are you going to tell someone what their gender identity is? It's not your place to tell someone, like, it's not your place to, like, tell someone what their gender is. It's your place to just respect them and to respect their identity. That's all you ever have to do. Just respect someone's gender identity and respect their self. Because that's the most important thing you can do. Just, so, like, the comments are hideous. Like, they're just like, you're going to hell for this, like, you're going to hell, like, you're disrespecting the hijab, like, how are you disrespecting, like, she's wearing it properly, there's nothing wrong with wearing the hijab, so I'm just like, so, it's very hideous, I hate it, it's just, she's just being herself, and, like, the Haram police is so fucking toxic, like, the Haram police is either 10-year-old boys or 50-year-old men, judging, like, girls, like young girls, like they don't do the, like, if they talk to a boy, you're going to hell. You don't wear your hijab properly, you're going to hell. You're showing a little bit of skin on your hand, you're going to hell. The Haram police is so toxic. Like for anyone, I'm gonna go on Urban Dictionary and search up the Haram police. Haram police, a bunch of BS-filled Muslims who choose to criticize, judge, and put down other Muslims on the internet or in real life. Basically what it is, they feel like they're like where like Prophet Muhammad is, that they can like call out anything, while they're the same ones who are like literally talking to girls who are like, oh my god, I'm such a player, oh my god, I'm like, they're the same ones who are, or like the 40-year-old men are the same ones going to like teenagers and DM saying, hello, you're so pretty, I want to marry you. And it's just, that's just mad creepy. But the same ones who are, I'm just Like, you're weird. You're, like, mad weird. Like, Muslim girls are not allowed to do anything, and that's where the conversation of misogyny comes from. Muslim girls are not allowed to do anything without being called, without just being called names, just like, you're not a woman, you're disrespecting the religion. And there's this other video I saw on TikTok. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Very unpopular opinion. It's not that hard to wear the hijab in this day and age. Just keep it on for the sake of Allah.
Hi.
Like, she thought she did something. Like, she's a hijabi, and she felt like, got a lot of girls stop wearing the hijab because, like, there's a lot of harassment that goes on, and just, like, a lot in where they are, so they just feel, like, really unsafe to wear the hijab. And her saying that was just invalidating them and making them feel less of a Muslim just because they were. So this guy responded to it.
Very unpopular opinion. You could have just shut your mouth and not said that. You sound stupid. Obviously, I'm not a Muslim woman. I'm not even Muslim anymore, but I was a Muslim convert. And it's extremely embarrassing for you to undermine people's struggles as if people don't go through them. Like, cool, you never had a hard time wearing your hijab, but other Muslim women do. And speaking as a whole, and in my experience of Muslim converts, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever you identify as, and even born Muslims, it's difficult to be a Muslim in America. I had to leave the bathroom to say this, but everyone's relationship with God is different, and it's not your place to speak on it whatsoever. Let's not act like we didn't all see the video of the Muslim woman that got harassed for wearing the hijab at a Dunkin' Donuts. Let's not act perfect here and discredit people's struggles. Thank you.
Exactly. She was invalidating, like, people who felt unsafe to wear the hijab out, because people are getting harassed just for wearing the hijab, or just, like, I also want to add, like, it's like on TikTok when, like, hijabis wear the hijab, or like when they just wear a hoodie, just like, a lot of people want to see their hair. Like, why? What is the importance of seeing a hijabi hair? Like, it's just hair. I promise it's not. Like, someone who used to wear the hijab, not all the time, just like in Musk. It's I promise it's just hair. Like, it's like it's just like, I promise it's just hair. There's nothing big. Like, and people get caught off with just like teasing they're gonna show their hair. I'm just like, get your clout, because I'm like, why do you want to see Muslim girls' hair so much? I promise it's not that deep. Like, it's just hair. It's just hair. Like, I promise it's just hair. There's nothing. It's nothing big. It's like literally just hair. Like, and then I saw this other hijabi saying like,
Okay, so there's a very big difference between not wearing your hijab correctly and disrespecting the hijab. Not wearing your hijab correctly consists of things like showing your neck, parts of your hair, arguably makeup, tight clothes, maybe you show this part of your arm, things like that. It's not okay, but everyone has their own path, everyone has their own journey. We know that, right? But disrespecting the hijab is when you wear crop tops, short shorts, when you raise your arm and pieces of your stomach show and you don't care. You know, things like that are blatantly disrespectful because you're putting stuff out there that...
I'm not going to show the whole video, but like, you basically understand the concept of where she's going. But I disagree with it because, like, the Muslim, it's a religion. Like, Muslim women aren't allowed to show individuality. Like, I've seen some outfits where, like, Muslim women show individuality with the, like, dress codes that Islam has for women. That's, like, rock this outfit. Like, that's something dope. But, like, you're not, like, showing, like, a little bit of your body is considered disrespecting your religion. But, like, Muslim women are allowed to show their sexuality, really explore their sexuality while being a Muslim. Like, and expressing their sexuality, this is also in the sexuality aspect, but, like, exploring your sexuality doesn't just mean you like the opposite, the same sex. That's just, but like, exploring your sexuality means you're exploring your body as a woman, because the woman body is so amazing. It has so many, like, you're not allowed to masturbate in the religion because it's seen as sin for women. But that's just really just exploring your sexuality. You're not really supposed to explore your sexuality unless you're married, until you're married. And even then, it's only your husband who's supposed to explore your body and explore your sexuality within them, and you're never allowed to really feel the pleasure of being a woman, and just like understand what pleasure really means. And your body's meant for your husband, meant for someone else's but you. And it's a whole another one with the women's sexuality, and that the whole problem with that. And that's why the awkwardness of not having sex before marriage comes in. It's just it's awkward, because you're just like, I've never seen a dick in person. I've never seen I've never actually looked at my vagina or my boobs, because like it was sinful to do so. And just, why is that? That's another question. Why is it? Why is that? Why is that actually a thing? Why is knowing my sexuality so sinful? Just like understanding my body, my woman autonomy, so sinful. And just like, and like how a lot of girls like feel weird to masturbating, because it's just like, because like society has taught us that like it's weird, like only really boys do it. Like a lot of girls don't know how to masturbate. It's just like, it's a taboo topic for women to really understand their sexuality, understand their body as one. And that's why the issue of men not being able to pleasure women, because men don't know like what the G spot is, where like the organ where like women can get orgasm from. That's why a lot of women don't get pleasure. And there's a little statistic that proves that a lot of women don't get pleasures from men, because like men don't know how to hit the spot. Men just like put the deeds in the deeds. I don't know. So just like Muslim women aren't allowed. It's mostly prevalent, but it's also a lot of other women are not allowed to really understand their sexuality, because they're not allowed to wear anything like remotely like sexual. They're supposed to cover their hand at all times, like all the way to their palms. They're supposed to wear long stuff. They're not supposed to really explore their sexuality as a person. And it's just very curious. And like, with the way she was explaining, I understand where she comes from. Like Muslim girls who like have their hair, but they're still wearing their hijab, but like you can still see their hair, or not see. They're like, well, you're the one that has your hair out, so you're not allowed to talk. But I'm just like, she's still Muslim. Like, your religion shouldn't have anything to do with what you wear, as long as you're still like praying and everything. Like, and also like how you have to pray like 5 times a day, like no matter what you do. But I'm not saying anything about that, because that's not me. But like, it's just like, the misogyny is, it's like Muslim women are now, like Muslim girls are just supposed to like be like housewives for like their father. It's disgusting. It's like, it's weird to think about. Like, I'm like, you're my father, not my husband. Think about it. Ew, that's gross. And husband. So it's just like, you're supposed to like kind of like think of like your father. You're supposed to like cook for your father, cook for the boys in your house, clean the house, while the boys can like go out with their friends, and the girls like are barely allowed to go out. They have to license, they have to go to the library, but like just hang out with their other female friends. And they're not really allowed to really do anything. You're just supposed to like, you're somehow supposed to like clean the house and study and get good grades. But like boys can like go out and like, if you get good grades, great. But if girls don't get good grades, they'll just get like a B. Like, oh my god, what are you even doing? Like, you barely. So it's just like a lot of like misogyny that happens. It's weird. It's mad weird. Like, it's just, there's a lot of misogyny that happens in the religion, and people are not wanting to talk about that. And like homophobia, transphobia, misogyny goes on, and people are like, that's just culture, like everyone's different, but like it's intertwined, and we have to be ready to talk about it. Please, I just want to talk about it, because like, think about it. Like, why not your own household? If you're Muslim, think about the misogyny that goes on between your brothers and you as a girl. Or if you're the son, and think about the misogyny about like what your brother gets to get away with, but what you don't get away with, just because, well, it's our religion. Our religion says that. Our religion's like, yeah, you can't be gay, or you're going to hell. But like, why am I doing all of this So to end this episode out, this has been my longest episode, but to end this episode out, why think about your own household right now. What happens? Like, you don't just have to Muslim as any religion. What happens? Like who's expected to do stuff, and like just like think about how you grew up and how your parents treated both of you, and if you were just sisters, like just think about the relationship you had with your parents. What type of relationship was that? And like, did they want boys instead of wanting girls? That's a very interesting point of like, how like religions want boys because boys are more hardworking, girls are just whatever. I guess I'll deal with girls or whatever. I can marry them off to go so they can give me like cows or like animals. And child marriages, gross. Child marriages are gross. So that's very interesting. And how like haram stuff. Haram is like drinking, eating pork, cursing, just like that type of stuff is what haram is. And just like haram is for girls is way more, like the list goes on. Like the haram police will come for any girl. Like if like any girl is just showing off her sexuality but still like Muslims is considered. Like there's just one group of girls on TikTok. I thought they were also disrespecting the religion, but then I showed my sister the video. She was like, yeah, what's wrong with the video? The video was basically these girls I think they were all kind of like purposely disrespecting religion, but like people were saying they were disrespecting religion because of what they were wearing. They were just wearing shorts. They were still wearing the hijab. They were just wearing like a crop top, and people were like, "You're disrespecting the religion. You're not supposed to wear that." Why aren't they allowed to wear it? Because a book told them so. Because your family told them so. A book because it's a religion and your family's culture. So is that why you're not allowed to wear it? So just like, those girls didn't do anything wrong. Because they were just being themselves and owning their sexualities, owning their curves as a black woman, as a black Muslim woman. That's all those girls were doing. And people basically crucified them for it. And like with those girls, it moved them with all the backlash they got because of what they were wearing with the hijab. Like if you got all this from just being yourself unapologetically, owning your body unapologetically, owning your sexuality unapologetically, and people who are claiming who are Muslim are like saying you're not a Muslim because you're wearing that, or like just judging your character because you're owning your sexuality. That's moving them farther away from the religion, and that's gonna make them like really pissed about the religion, and now they have like some type of hatred through the religion because people kept calling them names. People were like bashing their name. People were bashing their family because they were owning their sexuality as women, as girls. They were just doing them, and people were bashing them. So like in a religion with people calling themselves Muslims, and with that Muslim stigma, and they're kind of using it to bash these girls, saying, well, you're not Muslim because you're showing like your tits, you're showing your ass, your God-given ass and tits, so you're not Muslim. So like those girls would now have like a hatred of Muslims a little bit because of like these people on the internet telling them they're not a Muslim, even though they still believe in Allah, and they believe in Muslim faith. The people of the Muslim faith are not accepting them because they're owning their sexuality. And women you see on social media who are owning their sexuality, like Mia Khalifa, when she was owning her sexuality, people like completely just like said she's not a Muslim, and like she's not allowed to go to Lebanon, where she's from, because of the stigma it holds, and like she will get killed if she goes to Lebanon. And just like when like girls and women are growing up in a world where their body is hated and like they have to hide their body, and it's just very interesting. Like if everyone's telling you your body's horrible, and you have to cover up. Like I don't have a problem with the niqab, but the niqab covers your entire face, so like men can't see you, and that means you can't be a threat. Or like, and where you have to like cover your whole body in like black, or just like a long sleeve to your feet, then wear like closed-toed shoes, and you're basically being told that like no one can see you except from your man you're married with. And then there was this other woman on TikTok, she does like education. I like her videos. She does like educational videos about the religion of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So someone asked, was like, if you adopted a child, can they be able to see your face because she wore the niqab? She was like, if I breastfeed a kid before the age of 2, they can see my face. If I didn't breastfeed them, they can't see my face at all. So I was just like, how are you gonna breastfeed an adopted child? So that was just a very interesting concept of like the Muslim religion kind of basically like shuts women off to the outside world and only their family, their inner family, not like in-laws or like adopted families, chosen families cannot see them except from like your blood related family. And it's just a very interesting concept of like how like Muslim women aren't allowed to own their sexuality, own their body, love their bodies, and when they start to love their body and own their sexuality, they're seen as not a Muslim, they're seen as less of a Muslim. Or if like someone like me who's used to be Muslim, all my freaking life, when I have a different opinion that's of people, especially in TikTok, when I'm trying to have a conversation, they're like, well, you're not wearing the hijab, like you're doing whatever you want, so like you're not a Muslim. Like people just like disclaim the whole part of me going to mosque for like 16, 17 years of my life and just be like, well, yeah, because now you think different of us, you can't be us. But I'm just like, I still have the faith, and I still have the faith of like Christianity, Muslim, God. I believe there's a God, but then the people just tend to just push you away, and that's what the problem is. I'm talking about the people of Islam, the people that are Muslim people. That's the people this podcast is really going with. But like, yeah. So that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, this was a long episode. I hope you had fun, whatever you were doing. And yeah, I'll be in my dorm, hopefully, fingers crossed. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next episode. And I want to have this discussion. If you have anything else to say, you can DM me on Professional Rambler on my Instagram, or email me professionalramblerpodcast@gmail.com, or comment down or leave a review. Let me know what you think of this podcast so far. I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye.